Alright, welcome. We've got a short video here today and it's on what seasonings you should and shouldn't use for fat loss. Now, there are good seasonings and bad seasonings that you can use, and I'm going to tell you what you should be using and what you shouldn't be using. The seasonings are a great tool in order to help us be more consistent with our diet and actually enjoy what we're eating. So without further ado, let's get into this. Most guys who are trying to lose fat mess up their diet without even realizing it, and it's because of seasoning. Let's say you're eating healthy, you're sticking to the plan, but your meals keep getting more and more seasoned. Then suddenly you cannot eat plain beef or eggs anymore. That is how your taste buds get hijacked. You don't become hungry for food, you just crave flavor hits. I know so many of my friends who rely on seasoning so heavily that they literally cannot eat anything without it. And that is exactly what we're trying to avoid, because you should be able to enjoy simple, plain food without over craving flavor. So I've made a tier list of what I believe to be the best seasonings. So I've only went from S, A, and B tier. I've not put any of the lower ones because I just want you to know what you should be having. So I'll simply break down the ratings just now. S tier is what I'd recommend to have with every single meal to enhance the flavor, enjoy a meal more. A tier, I would use pretty frequently. Maybe not every single meal, but pretty frequently. And the only thing that you have to be worried about is sourcing, because there are some companies that do add weird ingredients into their products to make it have a longer shelf life and stuff. So you just have to be slightly wary of A tier. And B tier is like your treat. I wouldn't have it frequently. It shouldn't be a staple in your diet. It should just be every now and then treat yourself to something a bit more spicy. But without further ado, let's break these down. So S tier is clean, natural, and metabolically neutral. These seasonings have zero additives, zero sugar, and either support digestion or reduce inflammation. Now let's go into sea salt. It's got trace minerals and helps maintain electrolytes, especially if you eat low carbs. And salt itself doesn't have any carbs or sugar, so it's a great thing to use. Now, Himalayan salt, which is similar to sea salt, but it's slightly higher in mineral content, basically having the same health effects. Then we've got thyme, a personal favourite, which is antimicrobial, helps digestion of fats and proteins, and also has zero sugar. Rosemary contains antioxidants that protect fat oxidation, and it's great for cooking with ghee, so I'd have beef mince or maybe chicken. Put some thyme on there and that meal tastes 10 times better. Then we've got bay leaf, which I use in my rice pre-workout. It gives it a little bit extra flavour. And bay leaves help with blood sugar control and digestion, especially with meat/rice dishes. Then we've got oregano, which is one of the strongest anti-inflammatory herbs, and it's excellent for immunity. Then we've got parsley. It supports kidney detox and digestion. Turmeric with black pepper is an anti-inflammatory powerhouse which helps regulate insulin sensitivity. Now we're all about optimizing our insulin control and sensitivity, and turmeric is going to do just that. So why are these S tier? They have no additives. They do not spike insulin. These seasonings can also improve gut and metabolic health when used often. And like any seasonings, these will help you to stay more consistent with your diet as your food will become more enjoyable. You only feel the need to cheat on your diet when you're either not eating enough or you're not enjoying what you're eating. So making sure our food is always enjoyable by choosing the correct seasonings is going to help us be more consistent and keep the diet more sustainable. Now moving on to A tier. These are very healthy, but minor caution for purity or sourcing. These are still natural and beneficial, but can be processed or contaminated if it's from poor sources. So black pepper, I use this every now and then. It boosts nutrient absorption, but can cause mild inflammation if overused. Then we've got ginger, powdered or fresh, it's great for digestion, but powdered forms can be irradiated. Now, garlic powder is healthy in small doses, but most store-bought versions contain anti-caking agents or maltodextrin, which is just hidden sugar. That's what I mean. You've got to be wary about some of these products because they do chuck in some secret ingredient. Then we've got paprika, which is rich in antioxidants, but avoid cheap blends with dyes or smoked flavor. Then we've got cumin, helps blood sugar stability and digestion, but there's a slight insulin response if processed with starch fillers. Now, the reason why these are A tier is because they have great health benefits, but you just have to watch out for purity, additives, or processing from some of these ingredients. Now, these are okay to have for most of your meals, but you just have to be wary of where you're sourcing these seasonings from. Make sure you're getting it from a trusted source with a lot of reviews so you know it's an actual good brand. And another thing you can do is check on the back of the label what the ingredients are. If there's an ingredient that you don't know what it is, don't get that one, because often not those ingredients that you don't know what they are the hidden bad ingredients that you do not want to be consuming. So you should only be consuming ingredients that you actually know what they are. So moving on to B tier, which is okay in moderation. It's not bad, but some forms contain additives or trigger inflammation in sensitive people. So curry powder usually is a blend of turmeric, coriander, cumin, fenugreek, but often includes flour, sugar, or artificial colour. Then we've got mustard powder, which can help metabolism, but often includes preservatives or anti-caking agents. Then we've got chili flakes slash chili powder. It's natural but can spike cortisol or irritate the gut when overused, but many commercial chili powders have silicon dioxide or dyes in it. You've always got to be wary of where you're sourcing these from. Now, the reason why these are B tier is because they're still natural based ingredients, but you have to check the labels. Some brands are clean and some brands are completely garbage. Now, you can have these occasionally without any effect, but these seasonings should not be a staple in your diet. So, like I said before, these should be for meals that you have every now and then, not every single day. But I wouldn't consume these over 3 times a week. I just want you to think of B tier as a treat. Now moving on to C tier, so everything from C tier and beyond are stuff that you should avoid because they are really bad for you. C tier is heavily processed or has insulin disrupted blends, usually contains added sugar, MSG or seed oils. Steak seasoning slash chicken rum mixes usually have sugar, maltodextrin and inflammatory seed oils. Taco seasoning packets, same issue, loaded with sugar, cornstarch and MSG. In barbecue seasoning, nearly all have sugar and caramel colouring. The reason why these are C tier is because it has high insulin impacts from sugar and starch. It's ultra processed and generally not worth it, so avoid eating these as much as you can. Now, moving on to D tier. These are chemically flavored or synthetic. Artificial flavor dust that mimic taste but destroy gut and hormonal balance. Stock cubes slash bouillon, which are hydrogenated oils, MSG and anti-caking agents. Then we've got flavor packets from your ramen seasoning, instant soup, etc., which has got sugar, preservatives and seed oils. The reason why these are D tier is because they have zero nutritional value, disrupt insulin control and cause water retention. Now F tier is straight up garbage. They're full of sugar, seed oils and other chemicals pretending to be food. Now big one here, table salt, which is refined ionized salt. It's stripped of minerals, literally bleached, and contains aluminium based anti-caking agents. Now this is the one that most people use and they don't even realize it's bad for them, but avoid table salt at all times. Use sea salt or Himalayan salt instead. These two here. These are going to be the way better alternatives. Now, flavored salts as well are really bad. Garlic salt, seasoned salt, they're usually half sugar and half chemicals. Then the worst of the worst, sauce-based seasonings. That is your ketchup, barbecue sauce, or sweet chili, which are just sugar bombs and pure insulin chaos. Now the reason why these are F tier, they're processed, they spike insulin, they have hidden sugar and chemicals, so never consume these. So I use almost everything in S tier, then I occasionally use black pepper, not too much anymore. But even if you are using seasonings from S tier to B tier, make sure that you're using these in moderation, because like anything, consuming too much of it will not be good for you, especially with seasonings, because it can ruin your perception of taste. Meals you once enjoyed can become boring as your tongue becomes adjusted to extreme flavors. So when it goes back to more plain foods, that meal can become boring. But eating foods solely for taste is never the goal. You always want to chase nutrients, vitamins, and foods that actually fill you up rather than what tastes the best. And when food stops being a dopamine hit, your body stops fighting against you. Like I said, if you focus on flavor, your body's only going to crave flavor. So if you haven't taken a screenshot already, take one just now. All these seasonings will help you be more consistent with your diet, but seasoning should not be taking away your focus from the thing that actually matters, which is what you're eating. Seasonings only help enhance flavor and make your meals more enjoyable. So I will reiterate, you should only be using seasonings from S tier, A tier and B tier, but you use them accordingly. B tier not too much, A tier be careful where you're sourcing it from, and S tier you can use in pretty much every single meal, but just be careful about your portion sizes. Thank you for watching, have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video.